Ron has just assumed the position. Okay. I'm going to talk about Ron Pickett. Ronald E. Pickett was born in Daytona Beach, Florida on April the 14th, 1931. The same day that Lincoln was shot and the Titanic was sunk. Your sign. Left. You didn't pull it up. He is the son of Robert and Doris Pickett, and he has two brothers, Jack and Dick. Jack, Dick, and Ronnie were infamous when they were growing up for their Halloween trick-or-treat antics. Ron was born during the Depression, but fortunately his father was a supervisor with a Winn-Dixie grocery store chain, and people had to eat. Ron even made a little money working in his dad's grocery store, which he used to put gas in his motorcycle and take his girlfriend Kathy for an occasional burger, soda, and drive-in movie. Ron and Kathy had started dating at a very young age, and Ron says he remembers when they used to use the same pacifier in nursery school. Is that true, Kathy? Ron began his adulthood by enrolling at Florida State University and majoring in hotel and restaurant management. He also signed up for Air Force ROTC, which turned out to be a very, very wise decision. While attending college, he worked as a cook at nearby restaurants and hotels, and he never lost a victim. Laugh.
Oh, this one kind of...
After college, Ron took advantage of his ROTC training and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in 1953, reported to active duty in January 1954. His first assignment was as BX officer at Tyndall Air Force Base, Panama City, Florida. And there he and Kathy were married in August of that year. Ron's Air Force career was very unique in that there was the other Air Force, and then there was the one that Ron worked in. To say that Ron had cushy jobs might be unfair to the man, but Ron had cushy jobs. During his officers' club days, he only wore his uniform once a week, and that was to keep the mold off of it. Laugh.
And the base command.
Yeah, right. Where was I? I will also say that if anyone on active duty could have planned a better career for themselves, he hasn't been born yet. Ron's one hardship assignment was as housing officer at Goose Bay, Labrador, where the housing officer's big job was to keep the mice out of people's homes. However, it's so cold in Labrador, there aren't any mice there. Ron did get around a bit. During his Air Force days, he was stationed at Tyndall Air Force Base, Panama City, Florida, Goose Air Force Base, Goose Bay, Labrador, Medill Air Force Base, Tampa, Florida, Presque Isle, Maine, Rise, Northern England, Shreveport, Louisiana, Bowling Air Force Base, D.C., Andrews Air Force Base, Maryland, and Randolph Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. His most challenging Air Force jobs were as Officers Club manager at Andrews and Bowling Air Force Bases, and as chief of the Open Messes Division at the Air Force Military Personnel Center at Randolph Air Force Base, Texas. In the last position, he didn't make messes, he managed them. And he was in charge of all staffing and personnel matters for 424 Air Force clubs worldwide. That's officer, non-com, airman, and civilian. This last job was a tribute to a man that had proven he knew how to get the job done. He retired from the Air Force after 20 years as a lieutenant colonel and hit the civilian job market immediately. In only 2 weeks, he and Kathy had relocated to Corpus Christi, and Ron was general manager of the Corpus Christi Country Club. He worked there for 13 years until family illness caused Ron and Kathy to uproot and move back to their home state of Florida. After 8 years, their mission of mercy was over, and their only child, Pam, and her husband, Ed, encouraged them to return to Corpus, which they did in 1995. After returning to Corpus, they purchased a home near Pam and Ed, decided to officially stay retired and just enjoy gardening, travel, hobbies, and each other. Ron did return to Corpus Christi Country Club temporarily on 2 occasions to help them get out of a bind, but offers from them of returning to work fell on deaf ears. Ron and Kathy became active in Grace Presbyterian Church in 1975, before it was a church, and their contributions to its growth and success cannot be measured in hours, dollars, or achievements, but in dedication and love. It's hard to look around at Grace and not see something that has not been touched by them. Ron is stepping down from his monumental task of chairman of the service committee, but he and Kathy will be around for a long time to come, doing more than their share for Grace and for our Grace family. Saying thanks doesn't really do it, Ron, but anyhow, thanks for everything. You may return to your seat, Ron.